Welcome to From Beyond with your host, Glenn Boddice. Join me as we explore spirituality, self-help, and channeling spirits. Hello and welcome to From Beyond with your host, Glenn Boddice, spiritual medium. Thank you once again for tuning in to another action-packed show this week. As in this week's episode, I'm joined by my co-host, Kristina Bloom, and we're going to be discussing the topic of the legends of Halloween. Also in this week's episode, we have the channeling from Spirit, which sees me becoming a vessel for Spirit to bring their communications and wisdoms through. And then later on in the show, we have this week's energetic forecast reading, which will hopefully help you navigate your way through the course of this week ahead. So let's dive in deep. And first of all, I'd like to introduce Kristina, the co-host. So Kristina Bloom, how are you doing?
I'm great, Glenn. How are you?
I'm really well, thank you. Having to take some well-deserved time outs, I'm finding, and being comfortable with that. Because like you, I'm relatively busy all the time. And when you stop, sometimes you think, oh dear, this is weird. But
that's when it all catches up, right? When you stop, it just kind of like it was following you, and then it sort of hits you from behind and knocks you over.
That's it. I'm kind of rolling with it. Now, I understand you've been off on your travels. Please tell us a little bit about that before we start.
I have. I have been doing a lot of weekend events. So some paranormal conferences, a lot of psychic and wellness fairs. I was at two of them this weekend, actually, one in Grand Rapids, Minnesota, and one in St. Cloud, Minnesota. And those two places are about 2.5 hours apart. And just a silly little aside thing, my GPS has chosen to take me down every dirt and gravel back road in northern Minnesota, getting me from one place to the next. So that was interesting, driving that at night. But it's really very interesting. There's a strong Native American population in that area. Oh. And so I kind of feel like I was able to connect more with my people because having lived on a reservation when I was a child and having some Native American ethnic background myself, it was kind of like going home. I really liked it.
That is very interesting. We'll have to do a show on that, just off its own merit there. But maybe you went off the beaten track, so to speak. There was some part of maybe your ancestry that was directing you to go that way. Maybe some, I don't know, ley line work that you were doing without even realizing on your travels.
Oh, probably. I do a lot of work without realizing. I mean, I'm sure you do too, where you think about it later. Yes. And you go, oh, yeah, that's what I was doing. Okay.
So you've come on the show for a bit of a rest by the sounds of things today.
A little bit of a break, yeah.
Wow.
I bet you sit down.
I bet you've served so many people and changed so many people's life in those weekends that you've been referring to there. Wow. Good on you. Good on you.
I hope so.
Right then. So we'll dive deep. Today's show is all about the legends of Halloween. So what we're discussing is the origins of Halloween, how it became to be. We're going to be looking into how Halloween is stateside and also how Halloween is in the UK. So I'm going to quiz you first, then Kristina.
Okay.
So
quiz me. I got this.
Yeah, go on then. So what do you know about the origins of Halloween?
Well, basically, having grown up in a Wisconsin farm town that was all pretty much just Lutheran, Christian, everybody just dressed up and went around and had candy. And, that was it. That was all of Halloween when I was growing up. It wasn't until I got older that I realized that this was actually a religious practice for some pagans. In the Celtic culture, influenced by the Celtic culture in Ireland.
Yeah.
And it pronounced, we were just discussing this. So if we pronounce it wrong, I hope somebody, sends a message or something. But we were pronouncing it Samhain. based on what we had seen on Google and how to pronounce it.
That's correct.
There's no real, my understanding from my Christian background I don't practice Christianity today. I just couldn't make it work for myself. But there's some of my family where they said that Halloween was like the day before All Saints Day. And it was all adopted by Christianity as it moved into Europe because the pagans were already celebrating it as kind of the end of summer and the beginning of winter and that space in between, and honoring the ancestors for coming, during that time. That was kind of the religious aspect as far as paganism goes.
Yeah.
And the Christians kind of adopted a lot of stuff from paganism so that they could convert people more easily. So Halloween became All Hallows Eve, and originally new believers were encouraged to dress up in scary costumes to chase away evil spirits in preparation for All Saints Day that honored the saints and there was another word that they used, the people who were really loyal to the religion and who are to Christianity, and to honor them on All Saints Day. So that was what I learned from just kind of moving through life in this part of the world.
Well, what can I say, Kristina, other than you've done your homework? That's exactly what I was getting as well. God bless the search engines. That's what I can say.
Right. Consort the Google, or how does that say? Look to the Google Oracle.
Yes. So, what I was finding interesting about doing that research, the fact that, from the Celtic, the Celtics and also the pagans as well, and the fact that they used it, like you quite rightly said, as a bit of a celebration to sort of the end of one season, moving into another, and dressing up to ward off spirits, any bad karma or bad energy, so that they had this sort of positivity moving forward, for the crops, for the sustainability and all of that. So, I found that particularly interesting as well. And the fact that I couldn't find the connection. I know it was obviously a Celtic connection, but there was mention about jack-o'-lanterns being carved out of originally, I think it was turnips, and then somehow or way or another it got translated into pumpkins. But I believe originally it was turnips as well, and there was used as a bit of a, as the name would suggest, a bit of a lantern there to walk round and just celebrate this. So that's my understanding of the festival. But it has evolved, obviously, over the years, hasn't it? And there's been various interpretations of it, through time.
Right. I don't know if it's evolved or devolved, but it has certainly gotten much larger, at least in the United States. It's a big party thing.
Yes. Yeah. We was talking about this off air, wasn't we? About how certain festivals and celebrations now seem to be more about consumerism rather than the origins of it.
Right. Right. It's all about selling. It's all about, yeah. I mean, I don't know like how expensive things are in the UK. I haven't been there yet being the key word. But, I do know that like a bag of candy, maybe a decent sized bag of candy is about $22.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That would probably be, I don't know, 19, 20 pounds in UK sterling. I'm assuming anyway. So
so it's probably not that different if you consider the conversion. But
that is quite expensive for a bag of sweets.
Right, to hand it out to little kids in costumes.
That's it. I generally, I might sound like Scrooge, but around that time of year, that's when I batten down the hatches, lock the door, shut the curtains, And I put some music on really loud so I can't hear them.
You and my husband both. He just puts on his earmuffs or his headset and just plays video games or watches movies.
Yeah, exactly. You don't want to be bothered. I mean, I could see the fun with little children. I mean, when my two daughters were small, when you could, obviously, we'd take them round the close and, they'd be dressed up. They'd be very excited to put all this makeup on and trick blood. And then, like a witch's outfit. If you imagine that, two little blonde girls dressed up as witches walking round the close with a plastic pumpkin where they put all the sweets and things in.
Right.
That's what we used to do when they was little. But
yeah, that's what they still do here too.
It's kind of, I don't know. It seems to be about the winding people up in the UK at the moment. And it has been for a few years, just causing mayhem, an excuse to cause mayhem.
Really?
Yeah,
wow.
well, the amount of knocks I was getting on my door and, and just, you can hear people larking about down the streets where I live now. And it's like, oh, give it a rest. Like I say, I know it's not a festive sort of celebration, but that's the Scrooge coming out of me.
You got the Scrooge on the wrong holiday, buddy.
I know, that's what I'm saying. But yeah.
I know for me personally, and for some of the people that I know, I use it personally as a time of reflection, the time to meditate, light candles, go within. That's where I feel like I connect, and to connect with my loved ones on the other side even more than I already do. And it always feels like, it's a party, but in a different way, because I'm celebrating with my relatives who are no longer physical. So
I like that.
For me, that's the way I personally celebrate it. And I kind of feel like in general, even though I don't claim paganism as a religion for myself,
yeah,
I do feel like that's just a really respectful way of, even if you look at it from the Christian's perspective of All Hallows Eve and All Saints Day, it's just a more respectful way to do it. On the other hand, I have a 3-year-old grandson, and I love seeing him get dressed up in his little costume and running around like a crazy man and just having fun.
That's it. I do like that. They do say that there is a thinning of the veil between the physical and the non-physical realities there. Around this sort of period of the year. And similar to yourself, I don't consciously celebrate it, but I am aware of that thinning of the veil. And I often, I send the thoughts out. I often, like you, connect with my spirit team as well. And I find it a lot easier around that time of year. And I notice that I'm seeing more sort of flashes out the corner of my eye. I'm aware of energy within the home, more activity there as well. But for me, there's like a level of gratitude for that. With this thinning of the veil, as a medium, it makes your life a little bit easier because you don't have to work so hard, if that makes sense.
Oh, absolutely makes sense to me. Yes.
But yeah, I do like this time of year. A lot of people in the UK, particularly this year, we've had a very up and down year in terms of weather. It's like one week we could have really blazing hot sun. And then the following weekend, we've got torrential rain. And so it's been like that on and off throughout this year. And so there's a lot of people that don't like this time of year because of how cold it gets, and they can't go out and they're indoors a lot, and so they kind of look forward to Christmas. Because again, that's something else to aim for. But yeah, in the UK, it is a bit like that. Everybody's a little bit, ooh, here we go. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel like here, and this is based primarily on my social media, but people seem to come into two camps. They either love summer and don't want to see it end, or they hate the heat and the humidity and the bugs, and they can't wait for fall. I'm in that second camp.
I mean, we was discussing this as well off air, about the weather, and I was saying I'm like an albino. The minute the sun's out, Glenn's in.
Yeah.
I'm hiding from it. I don't mind it. And, if there's a little bit of shade, or I can wear a big sombrero or something like that, just to hide under with my
I've seen pictures of you in some pretty interesting hats, I have to say.
Yeah, you've got to. And you've got a shaved head. Got to look after the old dome, haven't you?
I'm very fair-skinned as well. And so, yeah, I'm not a fan of direct sunlight, at least not for more than a few minutes at a time.
Mm-hmm. So anyway, we're digressing, aren't we? We're going off topic slightly.
We are.
It's easily done. But yeah, Halloween. It's a very nice time of year, I find, to work with energy, to work with spirit. I generally find I have gone on more paranormal investigations around this time. With the nights drawing in darker a lot earlier, you can get more sort of time in, can't you? And you can do this, you can walk around graveyards and people won't think you are as peculiar as perhaps you are, because they won't see you in the dark. So it's a good time of year to do that.
Good point. Yeah, this is my busiest time of year, is September, October, and sometimes even into November, because of people's busy schedules. And so they wait to schedule certain events or whatever, but they still celebrate maybe Halloween, halfway through November. But there's still, this is my busy time of year. And this is when I have the most events. This is when I have the most clients. It's really interesting.
So
yeah,
I suppose in a way that could go with like the ending of one season to another. Maybe on a subconscious level, a lot of your clients are feeling that change and feeling that desire to connect in for guidance for the new season.
I believe so. Yeah. And in addition to, because this year, as you obviously know, we are just in the middle of this huge ascension, this whole 5-dimensional thing, and going into that. And I'm finding that more and more people are struggling with the changes that they're feeling as we're going through that, in addition to the seasonal changes.
Mm-hmm. That's interesting you bring that up as well. Because, there's a lot of truth coming out now, more so this year than the previous years. And it's that sort of our subconscious beliefs, the values that we have on ourselves, or undervalues for that level. They're all coming up now, more so now than ever. And a lot of people, like you say, are either afraid of that process or intimidated, and they're wanting to do what they've always done and ignore it and carry on. But they're not able to this time round. They have to face it.
Right.
So, I'm observing that at the moment with a lot of people. And I dare say that you're getting friends, clients coming your way and, messaging you, asking you for a little bit of guidance, which you give, obviously.
Right.
And they seem to be, that gives them that confidence to move through this time, doesn't it?
I feel like it does. And I know that myself, I belong to different support groups for people who do what we do, because we need support through this too. So
I like the sound of that. There's nothing like that over here.
All of it's online.
Oh, okay.
It's all online. Yeah.
Oh, you have to share that.
I don't have any local groups that I go to here. It's all online. We're all over the place.
Yeah, that's a great idea, because, as you say, we need space to let go, to release, do the inner work, do the cleansing, and get the upgrades in. Because
right.
I suppose if we use the analogy, the mobile phone analogy, if the mobile phone doesn't get the upgrades, it can't send or receive messages. So I suppose us being mediums, we need to be aware of that and, be open to them when they're coming in and be clear to receive them as well.
Absolutely. And if we are kind of cluttered up with our own muck, it's really hard to do that for other people.
Yes, definitely. But I do find that it does offer some, how can I say, the experiences that we go through. Sorry, my daughter's just walked in the studio, slamming doors.
I didn't hear a thing.
Oh, put me off my stride there. So I was going down the avenue that the things that we experience and we have to process, they do have their uses. Like you say, we can use them in our spiritual tool belt to guide other people through the same process and make it a little bit easier for them.
Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree. And I got really, really tired at one point of people saying everything that you're going through is going to help someone else down the line. And I'm like, but what about right now?
Oh, Lord, it's true though, isn't it?
It is. It is. We all go through our trials and tribulations. And the thing that I have found that a lot of people who don't do what we do don't understand is that we still have to do the human experience.
As well as, yeah. It can be quite sort of confusing at times, definitely, especially in social situations. I don't know about yourself. Sometimes I get tongue-tied. And
yes.
And, I'm not one for small talk. If we're talking about spiritual stuff, yeah, you have a job to shut me up. Or something that I'm passionate in, but how's your mum? How's your dad? And it's like, oh,
right, exactly.
I have an experience with that.
Right, I'm not good with small talk either. I don't want to talk about gas prices. I don't want to talk about football or anything like that really has nothing to do with my world. And I'm not putting down anybody else's interest, but. I'm not good at small talk. Let's dive deep. Let's get into it. Let's talk about something that matters.
Yes, definitely. And again, we've gone off topic.
How can we not go off topic? Everything is related.
It is. We just weave in and out, don't we? Seamlessly.
We do. We do. I love that we speak the same language, and I don't mean English. I think I've mentioned this to you before.
Yeah.
We both speak on the kind of the same spiritual level. And I really appreciate that because I don't have to explain anything to you and you don't have to explain anything to me. You get it.
It's nice. Yeah. It's a nice blend of energies, isn't it? Between us both.
It is.
Hopefully the listeners can pick up on that as well.
I hope so.
Yeah, I do. Yeah. So, in the USA, you've sort of talked about what happens. What happens in your neighborhood? Is there any events that occur around Halloween?
You know what? I wasn't here last Halloween, and this is only my second year in this neighborhood.
Okay.
So there are a lot of kids, and I know that a lot of the schools have things. We're right across the street from a big public park, and I know that they have something going on there at Halloween. There is trick-or-treating, where kids go around and collect candy from neighbors.
Yeah. And
again, there's a lot of kids in this neighborhood. So if you don't turn off your porch light and hide, you better have a lot of candy in stock. I'll be the one, though, that I'll put on my witch hat and my cape and I'll go sit out in front of my house with a big bowl of candy. I'm good with that.
I once saw a really funny meme a couple of years ago and I laughed and laughed. Basically, it was a photograph of a gnome on somebody's front porch, and it was trick or treat time, and he was holding a placard, a sign, and he was telling everyone to F off. And that just tickled me for hours. That's the level that we've reached today on this show.
It really is kind of the level that we've reached today, yes.
But here in the UK, we have, they do Halloween parties where a lot of schools may be having the end of term Halloween party where they have a disco, everybody dresses up, and usually nowadays people are quite, I'm not having a go at people, but people are quite lazy. They just go and buy a costume from, say, the supermarket, rather than back when I was young, we used to have to make our own out of like cardboard, paint, plastic bags, and
Yes.
things like that. There's none of that anymore. What I've noticed, it's all shop bought, which is back when I was younger, that was part of the charm, making it and building on that excitement and meeting up with your friends and, and seeing what you could get from which neighborhood. I got that from that street over there, number 4 it was. And so you tell your mates and they go see if they could get it.
So not so different.
Yeah, there's elements that are the same. I mean, I'd say nowadays there's a lot of sort of the American culture that has come over here into the United Kingdom. And
I'm so sorry.
We'll forgive you just this once.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
But yeah, the shops are absolutely inundated with costumes, with candies, as you would call them, lanterns, banners, and they're kind of selling them, I would say, in July, August, they're out on display. So, it's a lot to do with marketing. But yeah, just to make that sort of how it's changed over the years, like I say, when I was growing up, it was very sort of make, do and mend. Whatever you had lying about, you'd make something out of it, make it scary by putting some red paint on it or ripping it up, or something like that.
We did the same thing. We always had our own costumes that we made. And I live in the northern states, so there were times when we had snow on Halloween.
Wow.
So we had to be able to design costumes for any kind of weather because it could be hot one year and 2 feet of snow the next year. You never knew what was coming. So we had to design costumes that could fit either over a big snowsuit or just regular fit you. So there was a lot of jimmying with that too, which was always interesting.
That's another level of skills that you've got to have for doing that, isn't it?
It sure is. It sure is. I remember when I was like 11 or 12 and I was taking some of the younger kids in the neighborhood around, and it was one of those really cold, snowy kind of Halloweens. And so I put on my dad's one-piece snowsuit and stuffed it with pillows, kind of to be a monster. Yeah. And that's when, moon boots were the thing. So you kind of look like an astronaut with a helmet on and stuff. And I fell into a small ditch and I was stuck. I couldn't roll because of all the pillows that I had stuffed in my suit.
Oh, dear me. And of course, yelling out at that time of year, people think it's part of the camaraderie, don't they? Ah!
They do.
So bless you, he was stuck down this ditch probably till the next morning.
Well, somebody eventually went and got my mom, but
with a box full of candy to keep you company. Well, there is another side of Halloween that we haven't touched upon. I don't want to go too in depth with it, but there's certain, shall we say, cultures or people within cultures that kind of tap the energy of this time of year to yield that energy for, shall we say, negative purposes. And they link in to, this thinning of the veil in order to do that and to tap the resources of that there, again, to manifest something that's not positive at all. Are you aware of that goes on?
I am aware of it. Yeah. I don't focus on it. It's not part of what I do.
Exactly.
But I do know that there are people who are, I don't personally know anyone who does it as far as I know, but there are people who do.
I'm the same. That's why I wanted to leave it till the end. I don't want to sort of big them up in any way, but I am aware that there's certain pockets of society that do that under the radar there to capitalize on that energy. And I just thought that, it needed to be aware of, because there's some people that don't realize that actually does still go on in this day and age.
Right. And the thing is, it doesn't just happen around Halloween, but I do believe, like everything else in the spiritual Halloween realm, that there is a spike of that near around Samhain, All Hallows Eve, whatever you want to call it.
Well, Kristina, I've thoroughly enjoyed this conversation. We've meandered from subject to subject, but we got there in the end. But what I'd like you to do is just to tell people how they can reach you, how they can contact you, find you, and how they can book with you, basically, if you'd like to do that.
Okay. Probably because my website crashed, so I don't want to give anyone that information until it's fixed. So probably through Facebook at Kristina L. Bloom, or Instagram, Kristina Bloom SA. I don't remember what my TikTok handle is, but I only have one video up on there anyway. So Instagram or Facebook right now are the best ways to send me a message to get a hold of me to make an appointment.
That is wonderful. Well, Kristina, thank you once again. It's always a pleasure to connect with you. And I'm looking forward to our next episode. We don't even know what we're going to talk about yet. So it's very exciting, isn't it? I'm sure between the two of us, we're going to hash that out off air, aren't we? So
we are, yes. And thank you. I very much enjoy doing this with you once a month. This is fun.
Likewise. Yeah. I love, like you say, the similarities that we have and that blending of energy between the two of us, and we kind of get one another. It's really important, I find. And I love that connection that we have.
I agree.
Okay.
I agree.
Thank you, Kristina.
So
bye for now.
Bye.
As we were saying there, I hope you're all paying attention and observing these subtle changes within this part of the year as the veil is thinning between this dimension and the spirit and energetic dimension there as well. So just be aware of your sensitivity increasing a different level as well. Don't be intimidated or afraid of that process. Simply just observe and allow things to be. That way you will flow a lot more with the vibration. You may even find at this time of year that you get inundated with inspiration coming in from spirit guides and helpers. Also, you may feel your family members in the world of spirit drawing closer and maybe leaving their signatures with you. When I use the term signatures, I mean like smells that are maybe associated with them, or maybe thought patterns or memories, things of that nature. Just be aware of that this time of year, as I feel as though it will be particularly more dominant now than it has been throughout the rest of the year. So now we're moving into the next segment of the show, which is this week's channeling from spirit. And as you know, I always love this part of the show because I never know what's going to happen when I'm in trance. I'm unaware what information is coming through. It's only upon listening to it back in a moment that I get that insight and that wisdom that you're about to listen to as well. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this week's channeling from the world of spirit.
When one comes through in this form, through the vessel, one has to prepare and align thy vibrations so they match that of the vessel in order for us to take some sort of control over the vessel's, shall we say, faculties in order to align. What we do when we come through is we utilize the vessel's memory, we utilize their vocabulary, and we utilize what they have absorbed on their earthbound carnation to help us to formulate these words, these sentences that come through. So what we're saying is there's a great deal of effort that is required, and everything has to match up in order for us to blend and come through in each and every session that we have with you on this, shall we say, radio show that we're on. And we feel tremendously honored that this platform is being made available for us to come forward and share some universal truths and wisdoms with you. But going back to what we were saying, from our perspective, it's a very, shall we say, electoral process where there is a soul group, there is messages and communications that are wanting to come through the vessel, and we are elected to step forward and blend our frequency so that it matches that with the vehicle at this precise moment in time when you're hearing this transmission. What you will experience on some of these occasions, these topics and talks that we do discuss, is there will be other communicators that slide in and move over the top of the current communicator that is talking. Now, what is occurring when that happens is there is a dominant frequency at play, and this dominant frequency will be a stronger alignment, a stronger match with that of the vibration of the vessel and the allowance of the vessel for it to come through. So that's what occurs from our side of things when that is happening. But as you know, it's all energy, it's all information, it's all influence. And so if you can imagine, we often talk about, in your world, the internet and the Wi-Fi and the Bluetooth and the radio signals quite frequently, where we often use this analogy to illustrate what we're doing. And in fact, what we're doing is where that frequency, where that information, and we're constantly everywhere and anywhere in any one given moment in time. But what it does take, it is the commitment and, shall we say, determination of the vessel. They have to be ready and willing and open to heighten their vibration and to align with the vibrations that are constantly around you every single moment of your incarnation. They have to have that level of diligence, and also they have to have a repetition of times made available for when we can make this connection with them in order to facilitate these transmissions. So there's a lot that happens behind the scenes that you're not fully aware of as a listener to these communications. But we assure you, it is all done in love, and it is all done for the highest good of one and all. What you will or may not be aware of, that also in these transmissions where we come through the vehicle, we are also emitting frequency tones through the voice, and you will be aware of the vehicle's voice being manipulated and changed in various accents, various pitches and dialects in order to bring these communications through. But what also is at play is the fact that healing energy is being transmitted through the frequency and the tones of the voice. So upon you listening to these transmissions, we endeavor that you feel higher vibrational within your own alignment, within your own physicality. You'll feel a level of upliftment and clarity. And the reason why we tell you this is that after you listen to these transmissions every week from ourselves on the radio show, you will notice certain parts of your personality changing, certain parts of your belief systems being let go of as a result of allowing these frequencies of healing, of pure love and truth to permeate with your energetic physical body. So be aware of that the next time that you sit and listen to these transmissions that we bring forward for you. There's a great deal of effort and thought and alignment that does occur behind the scenes to enable all of these things to be facilitated. But as the old saying goes, where there's a will, there's a way. And what we will do is we'll blend with those that are willing to sit with the purest of heart, the purest of intentions, for the good of one and all. And when we've found individuals that match that caliber, we then start to work in alignment with them. And that is in fact what we're doing here in this very transmission that you're listening to. So we hope that has shed a little bit of light on the situation, what does occur behind the scenes with every single transmission that takes place. We thank you for listening, and we're going to hand you over to another communicator that is wanting to come through and express some words of wisdom with you. Thank you and bye for now. Well, I like to come through when I can, but of course I'm only allowed to come through for short bursts of time because the alignment process. But anyway, why I've come through today is just to say to you all that we are so grateful and gracious that you take the time most weeks to listen to these broadcasts coming through, and we really honor you for doing that. It takes a courageous heart, courageous soul, especially with all the, shall we say, drama and chaos that's going on the earth right now. It takes a courageous soul to step outside of that chaos and actually feel that there's something better that will serve their highest good. And we hope and we endeavor that you find that in these transmissions. What I would like to say is that over the up and coming weeks leading up to your, what you would term as your Christmas in the, on the earth plane, for most of you anyway, we would say on the lead up to that, there's going to be quite a lot of changes coming through. Now, these changes that are coming through will affect one and all in various degrees of strength. And what we're talking about when we say that is the fact that many of you will be finding the alignment with your truths on your timeline. Now, if you've been going through a period of struggle or not being able to get where you feel that you belong, then what you will find is some of these blocks that have been stopping you from making those alignments and connections will be removed. And you'll find that things will start to work out for you. And to begin with, you'll be a little bit surprised in the manner that they unfold, because you'll be thinking to yourself, well, why didn't this happen many years ago? Why did I have to go through all this time of struggle and procrastination? And we say to you, well, it is all down to perfect timing. You see, you had to go through that period of contrast so that you could appreciate these new times that are coming through. Now, of course, there will be those of you that have had life flow to you and work in your favor very effortlessly. And with those individuals, we salute you and we applaud your efforts for allowing the process to go through. But you see, when things happen smoothly all the time, you don't evolve, you don't grow as a soul. You don't add to the collective consciousness. So those of you that have had that experience of ease and grace up until this point will find a little bit of turbulence entering your life. Not to make you feel upset or pull your vibration down. You must understand that this is happening so that you can truly add to the greater collective with your experience, so that you see that level of contrast and confliction, and that will help you add to the value of one of all. The healing qualities that emit from you by going through these experiences are very important right now. So we're talking about the lead up to your festive season on the earth plane, and we just wanted to make you aware of these changes coming in. For some, it will be absolutely beautiful. For others, it will be, like we say, a little bit turbulent, but do not focus on the negative side of that. We say to you that if you were to look at these situations as a turning point within your soul path and within your life, that you'll actually find greater good, greater perspective in your circumstance. And you will find that there will be influences that will be leading you to make more positive decisions that affect everyone around you rather than focusing on yourself as an individual. You see, everybody benefits from these processes and changes that are coming in. But to summarize, we want you not to fear. We want you to be happy. We want you to go with the flow and trust what's coming through for you. It will happen very subtly, but nevertheless, if you are paying attention, you will notice these changes. I will go ahead and say that some of your family and friends will already be aware of these subtle changes within your persona and your personality. And with this being said, they accept you for who you are, and they understand and see the value in why you had to change. And they appreciate you now that you have. So thank you for listening in. I'll bid you all farewell. And this is not the first or the last time that I'll be coming through in these transmissions, but I hope you enjoyed it nonetheless. Take care of you folks, and I'll be in touch very soon.
Wow, again, another fantastic transmission from the world of spirit. I absolutely loved how they explained their side of things when they come through and how they blend, and the fact that they're working as a soul group. And so when the voice changes, or there seems to be a shift in the change of the personality coming through, is simply a dominant frequency that aligns with the frequencies of the vessel at that particular moment in time. And that's why it's coming through. So that really interested me there, how they do that. And the fact that they talk about the vessel having to show that level of commitment with the process, not just while in channeling, but also within their lifestyle, in order for these blendings and frequencies to occur there. So that was absolutely fascinating. And also interesting hearing that they also emit a healing vibration through the frequency of the voices that they bring through. And with each communicator brings a different healing tone and vibration in order to help the listener align and raise their consciousness and awareness. And also they'll notice that change after listening to the transmission from spirit. So I hope that you've maybe aligned and noticed that what spirit have said with that information there. And also the next communicator talking about the lead up to Christmas of 2023, changes coming in, alignments with our truths. And also it's all happening in divine timing. And, we're all going to experience some very prominent lessons with that there as well. And our friends and family will notice these subtle changes within us around this period of time. So fantastic. So now we're going to move on to the next segment of the show, which is this week's energy forecast reading. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this week's forecast reading. Hello, my name is Glenn Boddice and I'm a spiritual medium, and welcome to this week's energy forecast reading for Monday, the 23rd of October, 2023. Now, those of you that watched me work before will know that I connect with my spirit guides and helpers and also consult the wisdom of the angel tarot card. So what I'm about to do is just shuffle the pack and allow a card to come forward. And right away, here we have it. So here's your card for this week's energy forecast reading. Let's link into the energy and see what this week brings. First of all, I feel with you this week on a personal level that your energy and your libido is going to be very hyperactive to the point where you're going to feel these butterfly sensations in the stomach area, in the stomach muscles, this feeling of something exciting is about to occur. And you can feel it in the presence of the atmosphere there. You're not sure about what it is, but you're trusting. And you know that you feel something's about to change for the better for your personal life there. So watch out for that this week. Also, there will be occasions this week where you will have to bite your tongue and bide your time. In other words, you will have to sort of just allow the universe to work with you rather than you forcing things to occur. And I feel that your communications will be very on point this week as well. When you do communicate, there will be a lack of tolerance for, shall we say, small talk and things of that nature. You'll find that you'll be wanting to get to the heart of the issues. You'll be wanting to resonate with people, and you'll be wanting to help people on a deeper level. This week will also see you actually taking a bit of pressure off of yourself in order for you to actually appreciate where you're at in life and how far you've arrived and the things that you've achieved in your life. Also, this week will see you actually kicking back slightly and observing and assessing your next goals that you're wanting to plot ahead of yourself. Many of you may not have arrived at that destination of realizing your goals, but this week there will be that inclination and that inspiration that's coming forward so that you think, actually, I can be of service. I can do this. I can help them. I can go here. I can go there. There's going to be lots of positive influence coming your way this week. So do pay attention. And obviously it's up to you whether you act upon it or not. The choice is yours. But you will be aware of that inspiration coming into you nevertheless there as well. Also pay attention to your breathing this week, as I feel as though there's many opportunities for you to actually recalibrate your breathing, slowing it down, taking life from a more calmer perspective. And this will stop your mind from racing around. It will allow you to have that level of clarity, and you'll be so pleased that you did this, because it will not only clear your mind, but it will open your eyes to opportunities that are around you. And it will also help you to reconsider where you're at in your life. So let's turn over the card and see what the card has to say for you there. At the top of the card, it says 3 of air. So I'd like you to research the angel number of number 3, as I feel that that is very prominent for you this week there as well. They also say that 3 is the magic number. So there's something quite beautiful entering your life this week. So just be aware of that. And air to me represents the ether, the thinning of the veil, between our dimension, the physical dimension, and the world of spirit and energy. I feel as though that line is going to be blurred this week, and many of you will be experiencing, shall we say, unseen and unheard energies interacting with you. There will be that sort of sign there from your loved ones coming through this week. So just pay attention. Don't be afraid, and just embrace it into your life this week. At the bottom of the card, it reads, great sadness, take time to heal, the need to forgive yourself and others. What I feel this represents is it's talking about you actually, we mentioned it earlier, about you reassessing yourself, where you're at in your life. And there's going to be a part of, shall we say, bereavement in that process, because you've reached, shall we say, a juncture within your life where that version of yourself can no longer survive and exist. So you're going to have to reinvent yourself, or at least allow yourself to be reinvented. And you can only do that by letting the old version of you go. So that element of sadness is referring to that this week, I feel. And also forgiving yourself actually for being stubborn and holding on to those old belief systems, those old patterns that you've always allowed to occur in your life. This is just where you were at, but you've evolved, you've changed, and you've grown. And so now that you've done that, just take that responsibility and just trust a little bit more than perhaps you have been doing in the past. Now, looking at the artwork of the card, we've got blue around the edges. To me, that indicates emotions, for one. And it indicates that these emotions are coming to the surface. So things that may be lay dormant in your subconscious belief systems will be rising up, and you'll be sort of analyzing and questioning yourself. Well, why do I associate with that? That's not me. That's something that, I don't know, society or, relatives would maybe think. And you'll start to feel that vibration coming up to the surface. Just allow it to be let go of and be open to the truth of who you are coming to the surface there. Also, blue would indicate a time to go with the flow as well and to trust the process. And it also indicates communication. And we mentioned earlier about your communications being very on purpose and on point. You won't have time for small talk this week. You'll just be wanting to be more direct with your communications and aligning with people that are doing the same there as well. In the actual artwork of the card, we've got 3 what I would describe as unicorns, 2 prominent ones, and a foal, should we say. So unicorns to me represent mythical creatures. They can fly, they can walk on land as well, and also the horn there is in the third eye, so they have that vision, and they have that focused vision, which I feel as though that you will have. And when you trust that inner vision, you'll have the ability to spread your wings and literally decide what direction you want to move in. Unicorn, or the word uni, represents oneness, so something about you connecting with oneness, and also university, a time of learning for you this week, embracing new belief systems, embracing the new version of yourself there. The fact that these are white as well represents purity, spirit, and you trusting more. As we said, the thinning of the veil is getting rather thin this week, and you're just going to trust in that process rather than showing that element of fear towards it. Now, as you can see, these creatures are in the center of woodland. So woodland, I've got that old-fashioned saying, you can't see the wood for the trees. So in that respect, there's too much going on in your life at the moment, and you need to simplify things to what makes you feel good and what doesn't make you feel good. If whatever falls into each of those categories, if you start and use that as setting priorities in your life, you'll find that your life will flow more prominently in the direction of your dreams and desires, rather than being overwhelmed and flooded with emotions and ideas there. Also, we have in there what I would describe, there's some beautiful colors. Well, let's go with this. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4 prominent tree trunks there, so I want to give you the angel number of number 4. There's 3 unicorns there, so I want to give you the number of 3, which I already have done at the top there as well. And there's this beautiful color of blue and purple. That would indicate spiritual activity, protection around you, communication, and your emotions there. So that's what I'm picking up for this week's forecast reading. I hope that resonates with you. Thank you for hearting, liking, commenting, and sharing. And if you've enjoyed what you've seen on here and you would like to help and support the work I do, I have got a Buy Me a Coffee link above or below this video. And basically, this is a virtual tip jar, so all of your donations will be greatly received and used in accordance with the spiritual work that I do to help people rise and ascend their vibration. If you would like any of my services, like a private reading, head over to my Facebook page, Glenn Boddice Spiritual Medium, or my website, www.glennboddicespiritualmedium.com, and arrange your booking with me there. Join me every Monday at 4 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time on www.pulsetalkradio.com with my radio show From Beyond with Glenn Boddice, talking about all things spiritual, paranormal, and self-help. In the meantime, everybody, have a fantastic week. Take care, and God bless. Bye for now. Well, it sounds like we're all in for a fascinating and interesting week this week. Lots of lessons to be learned there. And interesting to hear about letting go of the old self and grieving that process. And don't feel ashamed of taking that time out to allow and facilitate this event this week, as it will serve your higher self and yourself in your present moment consciousness. Interesting to hear about all of the beautiful energy that's coming in as well, and that level of communication is going to be strengthened as you'll be getting more to the point there. So yeah, I hope that aligns with you. If you've got any stories you would like to share with the show, anything of a paranormal, self-help, or maybe spiritual nature, it would be absolutely amazing to hear from you. And you can contact me at www.glennboddicespiritualmedium.com, or you can email me at glennboddice@live.co.uk. And if you're happy for me to read out your encounters within the show, that would be even more incredible, as it will help other people that listen to the show maybe align and feel more comfortable by hearing your encounters there. So whatever it is you're doing, I wish you a fantastic week ahead. Please join me again, same time, 4 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time on www.pulsetalkradio.com with this very show From Beyond with Glenn Boddice. Take care, God bless, and see you all very, very soon. Bye for now.
Thank you for listening to From Beyond. For more information,
about what products and services Glenn provides, go to glennboddice spiritualmedium.com.